Welcome. Today's ASMR video will be about mammoths. How, where, and when they lived, and why and when did they become extinct. Mammoths weren't alive at the same time as dinosaurs. Dinosaurs died out around 65 million years ago, and they lived from the Pliocene epoch, from around 5 million years ago, into the Holocene at about 4,000 years ago. And various species existed in Africa, Europe, Asia, and North America. They were members of the family Elephantidae, which also contains the two genera of modern elephants. And also their ancestors. Mammoths are more closely related to living Asian elephants than to African elephants. The oldest representative of Mammoths, the South African mammoth, which is on this picture, appeared around 5 million years ago during the early Pliocene in what is now southern and eastern Africa. Descendant species of these mammoths moved north and continued to breed into numerous subsequent species, eventually covering most of Eurasia before migrating into North America around 1.5 million years ago. The last species to emerge, the woolly mammoth, developed about 400,000 years ago in East Asia until 3,700 to 4,000 years ago. Let me write now some of these things. Mammoths. have South African mammoth, and the famous one, the woolly mammoth. And they lived from around 6 million years ago until around 4,000 years ago. The word mammoth was first used in Europe during the early 17th century, when referring to mammoth tusks discovered in Siberia. Mammoth tusks were well known in that area. They were called mammoth's horn and were often found in washed out riverbanks. And Mammon is a powerful demon that is commonly personified as greed and is a noble demon lord of richness, abundance, prosperity, wealth, and injustice. Some local people claimed to have seen a living mammoth, but they came out only at night and always disappeared underwater when detected. A belief existed that the mammoth was some kind of a water spirit. They believed that the mammoth was a creature that lived underground, digging its tunnels as it went, and would die if it accidentally come to the surface. The concept of the mammoth as an underground creature was known also to the Chinese, who received some mammoth ivory from the Siberian natives. Accordingly, the creature was known in China as Yin Shu, the hidden rodent. There were many species of mammoth, but the one most people think of is the woolly mammoth. Woolly mammoths evolved and adapted for Arctic life, including small ears, as you can see, and short tail to minimize heat loss. They also have a thick layer of subcutaneous fat, a long, thick fur, as well as a large brown fat hump, like deposit behind the neck that may have functioned as a heat source and fat reservoir during winter. The fat was very important for woolly mammoths and enabled it to store a large amount of nutrients necessary for survival in temperatures as low as -50 Celsius or -58 Fahrenheit. The fat also allowed the mammoths to increase their muscle mass, allowing them to fight against enemies and live longer. On this picture, we can see well-preserved baby woolly mammoth from Siberia named Nuba that died more than 40,000 years ago. Here we can see how well preserved are the remains of this baby mammoth. Despite their large and frightening appearance, mammoths probably didn't use their tusks for fighting. Instead, they used them to clear snow away from the grass that formed part of their diet. It's also possible that large tusks attracted potential mates and warned off rivals. The largest known mammoth tusks are 14 feet or 4.2 meters long and weigh 200 pounds, which is about 90 kilograms. Males had the largest tusks, but females had tusks too. Fossilized specimens indicate that female tusks were around 5 to 6 feet long, which is about 1.5 to 1.8 meters, which is more than double smaller than this of the male mammoths. Like their modern relatives, mammoths were quite large. The largest known species reached heights in the region of 4 meters, which is about 13 feet at the shoulder, and weighs up to 8 tons, while exceptionally large males may have exceeded 12 tons. Four meters, or 13 feet, and 12 tons. However, most species of mammoth were only about as large as a modern Asian elephant, which are about 2.5 to 3 meters high at the shoulder and rarely exceeding 5 tons. Here we can see smaller mouth. As I said before, both sexes bore tusks. A first small set appeared at about the age of 6 months, and these were replaced at about 18 months by the permanent set. Growth of the permanent set was at a rate of about 2.5 to 15 centimeters or 1 to 6 inches per year. Contrary to common belief, the woolly mammoth was hardly mammoth in size. They were roughly about the size of modern African elephants. With the shoulder height about 3 meters and weighted around 6 tons. Woolly mammoths likely lived on a diet of mainly grasses and sedges, grass-like plants with flowers. However, evidence preserved in mammoths' stomachs shows that they also snacked on flowers, shrubs, materials found on trees, and moss. Different samples show that what the mammoths ate depended on their location. Since they were so large, they needed to eat a lot. They had to eat nearly 400 pounds or 180 kilograms of food each day and could have spent up to 20 hours a day searching for food. 40 pounds or 180 kilos of food per day. A woolly mammoth's age is determined from the rings of its tusk, like looking at the rings of a tree. The tusks have more detail than a tree trunk, revealing a major line for each year and a line for the weeks and days in between. Scientists can even tell the season when a woolly mammoth died, as the darker increments correspond to summers. The thickness of the rings indicate the health of the mammoth during that time. The tusk would grow more during favorable conditions. Here we have a cave painting drawn by Ice Age humans, showing the important relationship they had with the woolly mammoths. The Rouffignac cave in France has 158 depictions of mammoths. This is one of that from this cave. There is also evidence of the use of bones and tusks by humans to create portable art objects, shelters, like this one, tools and furniture. Today, the hunt is on for woolly mammoth tusks in the Arctic Siberia. Due to global warming, the melting permafrost has begun revealing these hidden ivory treasures for a group of local tusk hunters to find and sell. A tusk can range from 10 to 13 foot in length, and a top grade mammoth tusk is worth around $400 per pound, which is about half kilograms. Mammoth ivory, unlike elephant ivory, is legal and there is no problem if you want to trade with it. Usually, the hunters and finders of these ivory tusks are selling them around the world, and you can now buy some carving products from mammoth tusk more easily than from the elephant tusks, because hunting and killing elephants and selling their tusks is illegal. Thanks to frozen carcasses with skeletons, stomach contents, tusks, and even liquid blood left intact, as well as cave painting depictions by our human ancestors. Now we know more about the woolly mammoth than any other prehistoric animal. An incredible discovery of the permafrost of the Novosibirsk archipelago in the Arctic Ocean launched the conversation of the extinction of the mammoths. Blood in liquid form and muscle tissue was discovered inside the well-preserved body of an old female woolly mammoth nicknamed Buttercup. That is on this picture. And with these remainings in theory and with this DNA we can clone woolly mammoths, bringing them back from extinction. In fact, there is a project called the Woolly Mammoth Revival that is working toward making this idea a reality. So let me write this name, Buttercup. The concept of cloning of the mammoths is highly contested today. Some objections are that the mammoth's habitat isn't what it was when the mammoths roamed the earth. So, where would they live? Another concern is how microbes have changed in the 10,000 years since woolly mammoths have roamed the earth. Animals rely on microbes to help digest food. If the mammoth's microbes were extinct, the animal may suffer if brought back. Most of the world's woolly mammoths had died out by about 10,000 years ago. Human hunting and environmental changes played a role in their extinction. But the group of mammoths living on St. Paul Island, which is located in the Bering Sea, here, managed to cling on for another 5,000 years. These animals faced a different threat from their mainland cousins. As the earth warmed up after the Ice Age, sea levels rose, causing the Mammoth's island home to shrink in size. This meant that some lakes were lost to the ocean, and as salt water flowed into the remaining reservoirs, fresh water diminished further. The mammoths were forced to share scarcer watering holes. But their overuse of these watering holes also caused a major problem. As the other lakes dried up, the animals congregated around the water holes, which destroy the vegetation. We see this with modern elephants, and this allows for the erosion of sediments to go into the lake, which is creating less and less fresh water. So, one of the last known groups of woolly mammoths might have died because of lack of drinking water. The mammoths, unfortunately, were contributing to their own demise. If there was not enough rain or melting snow to top the lakes up, the animals may have died very quickly. Modern elephants require between 70 to 200 liters of water daily. So it's 70 to 200 liters per day. It wouldn't have taken long for mammoths to die if the water hole had dried up. If it had only dried up for a month, it could have been fatal for all mammoth population. The final resting place of woolly mammoths was Wrangler Island in the Arctic. Although most of the woolly mammoth population died out by 10,000 years ago, a small population of 500 to 1,000 woolly mammoths lived on the Wrangler Island only about 4,000 years ago. I hope that you found this story about mammoths interesting, but also that it put you to sleep. For those who maybe haven't fallen asleep yet, you can watch me drawing likable mammoth with no talking. Good night.